Welcome to Wednesday Web Chat. This is Carl Lewis, your host from Vision33. Today, our topic is going to be the Vision33 Cloud. Lots of folks are, still running on-premises systems, thinking about moving to the cloud. And so periodically, we just like to get that information out there. What is it exactly? So we'll talk about, some of those characteristics and the important things to know about Vision33 cloud services and cloud offerings. And I want to talk to you and just kind of bring you up to date with what it is and what are all the things that we believe about cloud and why it's a really good choice for either initial deployment, which many new customers do, or the next time you upgrade, migrating to the cloud and not having to migrate to brand new servers and all the IT processes that goes along with that. So our cloud offering is powered by AWS, Amazon Web Services. So it's an affordable, integrated enterprise resource planning solution hosted on the AWS cloud. It really provides easy remote access to SAP Business One on any device with an HTML5 capable browser. So whether that's your phone, whether that's a pad of all kinds of different brands, you can reach SAP Business One that way without having to have the client on that device or on that laptop or on that workstation. So with SAP Business One, all of your valuable information is safe, it's secure, and it allows you to spend more time running your business and less time worrying about internal IT support and costs, because that's managed by Vision33. Why choose AWS for cloud deployment? Well, these are some of the reasons that it really matters to us that we chose the right provider to partner with. SAP Business One is a certified solution on Amazon Web Services. So there are other places you could host SAP Business One, but it might not be a certified solution on that platform, therefore obligating you to some risk. AWS is the leading global cloud partner also, so they're kind of number one. It's always nice to be doing business with somebody who's in the lead. We offer AWS hosting because we believe it's the best cloud environment available. It has a larger infrastructure than other providers that span the globe, and that's important that it spans the globe. And it has the lowest downtime of 99.5% availability for all of their service level agreements. There's also 24/7 infrastructure support included. So if anything goes wrong with the actual server hardware mechanisms that are behind the scenes, they take care of that, no questions asked. And it has very fast system performance. So many of our customers experience a definite upgrade in performance when they move to the cloud. What is our partnership with Amazon Web Services about? Well, it's what we refer to as a strategic alliance with AWS. Now, this status recognized by Amazon Web Services, what they call APN, highlights and demonstrates that we have a level of proficiency and proven success in helping customers to implement, migrate, and manage SAP Business One in their cloud services. Vision33 happens to be the only global Business One partner with this status. That's because we have, and growing, 400 plus Vision33 customers to date using this innovative AWS technology. We still have a lot of legacy customers out there with about 1,400 of them around the globe that are running systems that are not in the cloud, that have not moved to the cloud yet for various reasons. And so this is a part of many of their future journeys, is to make this transition. And rest assured that Vision33 and AWS can make it happen as easy as possible. This alliance, we've collaborated together since 2011 to certify AWS for production deployments of Business One solutions, platforms, and databases. AWS is offering today the broadest and deepest set of native cloud services, spanning all kinds of traditional services that they refer to like compute, storage, databases, and more. And it has support for emerging technologies, which is really important to us, like IoT, the Internet of Things, machine learning, and another number of things that are the top of reliable global infrastructure today. All of that is capable at AWS, but not supported on some other cloud services. What are some of the benefits of hosting AWS in a, hosting Business One in the AWS cloud? Well, it becomes a more easy and affordable deployment. You can obtain greater cost certainty. There are less sort of questions about it. Secure access from anywhere at any time. You have to worry less about remote access. And this became really apparent due to the pandemic, that many companies were not really totally prepared for what it would mean if their entire, office workforce had to be remote for a period of time. They might have some limited remote access that they had pre-configured, taken care of, but not for everyone. And the AWS cloud really provides that right out of the box. You never have to worry about it, whether you're in the office, out of the office, wherever in the world you might be. So it's just simpler lifecycle management, no fat client installation, no upgrade for the browser user, right? It's just one upgrade of the whole system and it's one and done. And so upgrades become less costly for sure. And as we go later to talking about whether it's private cloud or multi-tenant experience, some of that has implications also. The management, all of this IT infrastructure really requires a minimal investment, lower total cost of ownership because of the browser-based access. There's no additional license, for instance, for Microsoft's remote desktop technology. We don't use it, right? It's all browser-based. And it's able to scale the solution according to your business needs. As your company grows, your infrastructure requirements grow, that's really easy to accomplish in a very short time experience when it's in the cloud. So it's really a best-in-class AWS cloud hosting service. The experience that they have of building and managing the cloud since 2006, the service breadth and depth that they have with 40 plus services to support pretty much any cloud workload, the pace of their innovation. They have a history of rapid customer-driven releases. They have a global footprint, which is important to almost any business, no matter what size they are today. Everybody wants to be doing business around the world. This helps that to happen quickly. 11 regions, 28 availability zones, 52 edge locations. That becomes important because you can choose where your data is, in what location for AWS. Their pricing philosophy, they've actually experienced 45 proactive price reductions to date. So the cost of cloud computing is going down, not going up. And they really have the industry leading technology. Their core competency is highly scalable and have really reliable data centers. Some additional reasons why this is a good choice, why Vision33 partnered with AWS, is that you own your data, not AWS. So with some ERP offerings in the marketplace that host your data themselves in their own cloud, I won't mention any, you don't really own your data. They do. That's a problem, because if you ever want to move back into an on-premises situation or move to a different cloud offering, you need that data. You can choose, which I mentioned briefly just one slide before, you can choose which geographic location to store your data. Some countries around the globe demand that businesses working in their country store their data and their systems in that country. So you can choose which geographical location your data is stored in. They encrypt your sensitive data both while it's in transit and while it's at rest. And AWS meets IT, risk compliance, and audit requirements through reports, SAS 70, and external certifications for IS 27001, PCI, and FISMA. And others, by the way, they're just not all listed. It's always good to ask, if you're in a specialized industry, does it meet this requirement? I can almost promise you that the answer is yes, but there are some industries that have special requirements that don't even allow them to use cloud services. They must be on premises. You can access your company's data from anywhere, anytime, on any device. And it's a role-based security management options, right, in the cloud for greater control of who has access to what. What about cloud security? Well, you can view your entire infrastructure with a click. It just gives you an instant sort of diagram about, how things are set up. So typically, most Business One systems today are a kind of a 3-server configuration, and you can see all of that, right, with a click of a button. And it gives you deep insight with the AWS Cloud Trail. So you can find if something went wrong, where and when it went wrong. You have sole authority on where your data is stored. I've said that about 3 times. I think it's really important. And it's what we call a shared responsibility model. We'll get into that a little more down the road. And there's great, audit trail, third-party validations, including the list that you see here. So a lot of those requirements that I mentioned that various industries need to work with, this is where it's the largest list that I could get together of all the things that are supported from an auditability audit trail tracking purpose for various industries are listed. So take a look quickly if you're aware that any of yours might be required. What about data and disaster recovery? Well, you can back up your data efficiently and recover from a disaster event quickly and accurately with disaster recovery in the cloud from AWS. This is an enablement of faster disaster recovery of critical IT systems without incurring the infrastructure expense of a second physical site. So a lot of companies are kind of paranoid for good reasons in today's world with all of the invasions that are prevalent. And so they've invested, those that have on-premises systems, in an entirely separate system. Think of that expense, so that if something does happen, they simply need to move their data back up to the new system. Others have really gone the extra step of replicating their system in real time, so that if something happens, they don't even lose a second. It's they just move the address, that everybody is getting their data from to a new address. Very fast, but very expensive. So the reasons that AWS disaster recovery with Vision33 is a good choice is because there's fast performance. You can be back up and running in under 5 hours. It's a quick file retrieval to avoid fines and missed deadlines, right? Because that time is money and sometimes it can be very costly. It's very elastic. We can add, delete, and expire any amount of data quickly and easily. And it's dependable, low risk with regular quarterly testing and reports. So it's not just forget it, we've got it handled. You're going to get regular reports that tell you that it was handled and it was handled well. It's flexible and it's available for on-premise to cloud and cloud to cloud. So there's all kinds of ways where you can locate the backups, and it's affordable and has immediate cost benefits with no lost transactional data at all. So it's a good system as it relates to disaster recovery and security. Now, there's kind of a couple of different methods that get deployed for, protection against disaster recovery. And suffice it to say that method 1 really relies on you, the customer, right, to do regular sort of backups and to store them someplace secure. And if there is a problem, then those backups are used. You'll have to provide them to Vision33, and Vision33 will use them to restore your system with, right? So now that one's less cost, right, but greater risk because it relies on you to do that. With method number 2, it's really a data protection plan that automates the daily data replications and frequent backups, and it becomes a simple backup and restore plan. And these backup files are already at Vision33's disposal. They're all managed by AWS, and if disaster strikes, you just have to make those things available to Vision33, and they happen. So it's kind of, one's a little more manual and the other's a little more automatic, right, in that sense. And it's up to you, the customer, to choose which service you want, because there is a cost implication. People get concerned sometimes about the cost of on-premise systems, right, compared to cloud systems. Well, this little sheet here, you can take a look at it. I think there's some importance. The graph really kind of comes up with what's the yearly cost over 7 years. And the blue is an on-premises system that is the same size and basic configuration as a cloud system, which is in the orange color. So you can see that in year one, for an on-premises system and a cloud-based system, there is a greater cost. And it kind of levels out for each of them over the next 7 years, but that the cost every year is always higher for an on-premises system. And that's really, this is in hope that your servers last for 7 years. If there's an interruption along the way where you have to upgrade a server or something like that or replace it, then those costs would go much higher, of course. So with the cloud-based system, I think the real benefit is when you need to upgrade a server, it can be done virtually in real time so that you don't have to go out and buy a new one, take the old one offline, put the new one offline, and all of those interruptions. It's much more seamless in the process. So basically, if you really look here in the on-premises versus cloud expenses, excuse me, over a period of 7 years, on-premises had a cost of $489,000, where the cloud system was $259,000. Now, I would also be honest to say that this is a best case scenario. There are always exceptions. There are always other things that come into play, but we find this to be a general rule of thumb that cloud-based systems bring a tremendous amount of savings over a multi-year period of time to companies that move their systems to the cloud, and so much more flexibility to move and grow and integrate and do all kinds of other things with those systems. So let me kind of summarize some of these benefits, right, of moving to the cloud with Vision33 and AWS. Remote access. This is a really big one because, as we mentioned, the pandemic made us all truly aware of the need to be able to move to a more remote environment of working than ever before. I've heard recently that outside of the IT industry, of course, which I'm a part of and Vision33 is a part of, outside of that industry, there is a pretty strong migration back to the office across all industries. But the IT industry and services industries like consultants, they're the sort of the ones that are still working remotely the most, if you can believe that, because they're taking advantage of all the technology. Cost savings. It is less money to put an AWS cloud system in place than it is to replace all your servers and all your infrastructure to upgrade the whole thing. You pay for what you're using and no more. If you need more, you can pay more. But if you, for instance, if you need a new user, you can add a user. That might increase the cost. If you need more memory, that might increase the cost. We try to configure that so that it's always operational and really gives good performance. And that's what you want. You want to pay for no more than you need, but you don't want to pay for less than you need either. Security, we talked about all the ways that this system is secure and gives you as little risk as possible along the way. Flexibility, the flexibility, as I just spoke of, to add new components, to add new users, to add new services, to integrate, to do all of those types of things, with other applications, whether be they in the cloud or other places, be they best of breed applications you're using for other purposes and want to integrate with SAP Business One or websites or e-commerce or EDI or any number of things that you might want to integrate with Business One. It's all capable and faster to do it in the cloud environment. Speed. It is a productive system, and that productivity can be dialed in to where you are happy with it, right? Simply by allocating the proper amount of resources and servers in terms of all of their distinguishments so that you get what you want. And you have this great AWS experience, right? Guaranteed high availability, performance, durability, server environment up and running in hours, not days or weeks. When you decide to initiate an AWS experience, it only takes a couple of days, maybe even hours, for you to have a server up and running. If you decide to get a new server on premises, these days, that can be weeks, sometimes as long as 4 weeks, maybe longer, to get your new server, because they're not just sitting on a shelf someplace. They have to make them one by one. So close to the end here, I really want to just talk to you about the difference between multi-tenant and what it is, and what we refer to as single tenant. Now, today we call these Vision33 public cloud, meaning multi-tenant, and Vision33 private cloud, meaning single tenant. The best way that we have come up with to really sort of explain the difference is this little illustration that you see here down below. In a single tenancy, what we now call Vision33 private cloud, you as a company are the only people in that cloud environment, right? Nobody else is sharing that expensive place with you. It is just you, your family in that house, right? It's a house. And because it's a house, you can remodel it. You can do all kinds of things to it. You can change the outside. You can change the inside. You can put different landscaping in, all kinds of things, just like you can in a cloud experience when you're in a single tenant environment. You have a lot more control. There aren't as many limitations on you. A lot easier to do customizations that are true one-offs, right, in that single tenant or private cloud environment. So today, most of our customers are in private cloud environments, because multi-tenancy was something that's kind of a new concept. And what is it really when we talk about multi-tenancy, or what we now refer to as Vision33's public cloud? It's because that cloud environment is kind of like an apartment building, right? Where it's got multiple floors and multiple doors, and you can change certain things in the apartment, but you can't change much, right? And there are limitations and controls on what you can do and what you can't do, right? Not as much freedom of choice. So today, for instance, in our multi-tenant environment, not every add-on for SAP Business One is supported, but almost any add-on you can dream of is supported in a single tenant private cloud environment. So there are some limitations, but there are still a huge number of users of SAP Business One that can work productively and well in a multiple occupant situation, in a multi-tenancy situation in the cloud, where that's a public cloud, where people are sharing the system, but their data is all secured, right? So they're the only ones that can access their data. No other tenant, no other occupant can have access to their data. That's secured. So why do people want to be in a multi-tenant cloud? Because it's less expensive, because you're sharing resources. So this is a great choice for startups, for really small companies that don't have a lot of integrations or customizations or add-ons, or they have, one of a handful of add-ons or all of the handful of add-ons that are approved in the multi-tenant environment. And so they fit really well into that experience. And so it's, again, it costs even less and saves money and still provides the great service and the great experience for users of the system. That's really the difference between the two, is choice, flexibility, and the ability to have this private experience. There are, people that have to have a private cloud experience of a single tenant only because of legal requirements and things of that nature too. So there can be all kinds of reasons. But rest assured, when you approach anyone at Vision33 about migrating to the cloud, they're going to talk about these two things and about where you might fit the best and help you to make that decision in an educated manner. This is really a list of just a small list of some of our 400 customers, of companies that today are running SAP Business One in the Vision33 AWS cloud. And most of them have success stories with us that you can find on our website. and you can take a look at their experience and how they're getting value from the AWS cloud. Some are running Microsoft SQL systems, and many are running SAP HANA systems today. Our multi-tenant offering, by the way, is only available in SAP HANA. So that's another reason that many people, if they want to stay with Microsoft SQL, right, then they will be a better candidate for private cloud as well. I wanted to check to see if there's any questions here today. Doesn't look like I have any. But please know about Amazon Web Services with Vision33 that if you do have questions and you want to follow up on this information, to please contact your customer relationship managers and ask them for more information about Vision33's AWS cloud experience. We'll be happy to share it with you and make the best situation for you in your next upgrade of SAP Business One. Thanks for joining us on Wednesday Web Chat. Hope to see you again on another episode.